you doing?
Great.
All right. Enjoying the meal, wasn't it good? Great job to the people here that put this on. Kim Stevens, who does such a beautiful job every year of putting this together. I just love her so much. And thank you, Kim. Can we just give her a round of applause? So now, if you were in school, you would have to give her a round of applause, which looks like this. Well, is it on? It's not up close enough. Can you hear me all right? No. Got it. Now? No? Yes, I do. Super. Okay, well, I just want to thank you all for coming. It's such a blessing that you are all here to join us on this journey that began so many years ago to raise orphans in Honduras who desperately need all of our help. I moved down there last January, so it'll be a year in January that I got to the privilege of getting to be the director of our school. And so I'll be telling you a little bit about that. Oh, here's my cutie pie. That baby that you just saw up there is only 1 year old. We just got her in June. That was her first birthday. So I wanted to tell you, most of you aren't here for the first time. Some of you have been here year after year. Thank you for coming always. You've already heard how God birthed the vision of Heart to Heart many years ago in the heart of its founder, Oscar Serrano, when he was just a child growing up in Honduras. And God may give many visions for his glory to many people. Some of you here, I'm sure, have had a vision from God that you're living out. But I would wager to bet that most visions that God gives falls on blind eyes and deaf ears. But not this one. In a vision, we get to see what God's heart has seen. And a desire and passion is stirred to fulfill that vision because of our love and obedience to him. God chooses those he knows will not give up. Because following and acting on a given vision is always going to be a challenge. Satan's going to throw everything he can at it to destroy it and the relationship with God so that it will fail. Well, the vision was and is to rescue, raise, and restore abused and abandoned children in Honduras so that they can become the next generation of strong Christian citizens and leaders of this second poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. Currently, children of abuse have little protection from the authorities there. Those who are rescued from these situations are too numerous for the state-run orphanages to house. And these places, these state-run orphanages, were pits of neglect and abuse as well. I have experienced it firsthand. I used to take teams down and on purpose take them there to break their hearts, because guess what? Till your heart is broken and you get to see what God experiences daily and every minute, it puts a fire in your belly so that you can't come back here and not do something about it. And that's what these places were like. In fact, the system has become so corrupt that the current government has recently closed them all down, with the goal of placing all those children that were in state-run orphanages in private orphanages like Heart to Heart by the end of December of this year. Wow. 2 months, guys. In addition, Honduran children are being sent by their parents on the long, dangerous, and sometimes fatal journey to the U.S. to escape gang violence and predators. You've all read about this and probably seen it on the news recently. In fact, more than 70,000 children from Central America alone, many of those from Honduras, have come here to the U.S. since just last June. Wow. Well, we in Heart to Heart know firsthand about this. In June, we were called to a mountain village to get 5 children from one family. The father was a drug gang member and had recently been murdered. The gang came to the mother and demanded that she pay what her husband owed them. And if she couldn't, they threatened to take her 5 kids, ages 1 to 10, using the eldest for prostitution and selling the younger ones for illegal adoptions. She was desperate, so she was planning to send them alone on that dangerous journey to the United States to escape that fate. And then she heard about Heart to Heart. So the first picture you saw of that baby, that's Angie. And she's age 1, and she's the 1-year-old in that group of kids. And she's now safe at home with Heart to Heart at our children's village with her brother David, who at our last birthday party just a week ago celebrated his 7th birthday with his brand new family. David and the rest of his sisters, Genesis, who's 4, Marlene, who's 6, and Daisy, who's 10, are now attending our Heart to Heart bilingual school that they love. They're safe. Likewise, 4 brothers, Nicholas, Angel, Michael, and Japhet, were rescued 2 years ago from a similar fate, and each one is thriving. Please listen to this amazing child, Nicholas, who knew no English 2 years ago as he speaks to you.
I want to count a little bit with my life before I come to the village. I live with my aunt, and my dad lives in the United States as a little friend. I go to the school, but my aunt don't have money to pay. Someday I don't eat. Someday I don't eat because I don't have food. And one day she went to her mom, and she told me about the village until Filipita. I said to myself, yes, I want to go. When I come to the village, I go to the bilingual school, and I learn English. I get presents for Christmas and birthdays, and I love it. I love living in the village. When I grew up, I wanted soccer player and play in the United States and help the kids to have family, not go to the school, not have food, and not have English on the street. I love you all, God bless.
Currently, there are 98 children at home with Heart to Heart. Our youngest is Angie, who is 1, and our eldest is Luis, who will be 19 years old in a month. Half of our children, now hold on to your seats, are teenagers. So, raising this next generation of Honduran children is the second part of our vision. God has commissioned us to train up godly young men and women who walk with His integrity, who will impact the life and the government of Honduras, and who will in turn raise godly families. This is being accomplished with purposed intention in our several homes for our kids, in our church, in our school, in our youth group, and in our brand new teen discipleship program that Jordan will talk about later. Well, realizing many of our kids will be entering adulthood within a few years, we are developing this discipleship program to assist with this launch. Many of our teen boys live in the newly established discipleship house with 3 of our long-term volunteers, Alana Ramirez and her husband Gerardo, and Jordan Renta, whom you will hear speak after me. Likewise, 14 of our teen girls are living at Serrano's in that discipleship house with long-term volunteer Michaela Gronsek as their mentor. That's where I live too. We have 20 people living in our house, and it is a hoot. I love it. Well, these programs will be the final jumping off place for our sons and daughters into adulthood. And just as any proud, apprehensive parent, we are making our final efforts to ensure their success spiritually, educationally, in career development and life choices. One of our daughters, Leslie, now 17, lives with me at the Teen Girls Discipleship House. She's also the newly elected president of the student body of our school. Yeah. I first met Leslie at one of those state-run orphanages that they're closing down. It was called Nueva Esperanza, and in English that means New Hope, but I'll tell you what, there was no hope there. In that place, there were about 120 kids, 3 people to take care of them, and over 50% of the children were under 5 years old. It was heartbreaking, heartbreaking. Well, she'd been there for about a year, and she'd been removed from her home because her father was abusing her. When I met her, she had just graduated from 6th grade and was slated to be sent to the other side of the wall of this orphanage where kids were sent when they were 13. And on that side of the wall, they housed the teen boy delinquents that were sent there from the court, and the girls were regularly abused by them and often by the guards. I could not leave this bright, beautiful child to this fate. And in addition to her other gifts, she's an amazing artist and designer. And along with one of our sons, Luis Gustavo, just completed a wall mural in our school office of our school mascot, whose name is Oswald. And he's a huge, beautiful eagle. This is Leslie.
Hi, my name is Leslie Fuentes. I'm 16 years old. I have lived at the village for 5 years. Before, I went to INFA because my parents had problems and they just decided I could not live anymore with them. I lived for 1 year in INFA. I met Mary Frenter, and she told me about Heart to Heart, and she asked me if I want to come. I love living in the village because I have learned so many things. I learned to be a beautician. I have learned English, and the most important is I have learned about Jesus. And I'm thinking about that I like it, fashion designer, dermatologist, and cosmetic. And also I would like help other kids like me. Maybe some people don't know me and help me. And I just want to say thank you because you are a blessing for my sister and brothers. And I say thank you for everything, and God bless you.
I love her so much. Marisol is another of our daughters living with us at our Girls Discipleship House. And at home, you will almost always find her with her nose in a book. She cannot seem to get enough of books, and they are in English. She loves to read.
Hi, my name is Marisol, and I'm 15 years old. I have lived at the village for 7 years. So, what I love most of the Heart to Heart is that when I came to the village, the children's village, well, I think I found a new family, and I learned how to dream and think about my future, and I learned about Jesus, and my mom brought me to the village when I was 7 years old, and where my older siblings live. So I love the village, and now I'm in high school, yeah, I'm studying, and when I grow up, I want to be a doctor or a writer. Because I think if I study medicine, it's a great help to help other people. And when I help others, I feel like if I'm giving back what's been given to me. And I want to be a writer because I love to read, and I think it's a great way to help new things, to learn new things. And I just want to say thank you to all of you, because maybe you don't know me, but you're still helping us. And yeah, that's all. Thank you. God bless you. Bye.
Our children are growing up from good to great to excellent. Several of them will be graduating from high school in the next couple of years. Some have already begun the 2-year training at our beauty school. Some will pursue trade schools that will lead to careers as electricians, builders, computer technicians, and more. All of this takes careful planning, from safe transportation to housing to school costs. One of these is Dilcia. She's 16 years old, and she has lived with Heart to Heart for 8 years. She has grown from an angry young girl to a gentle, happy lover of Jesus and children. She's going to talk to you in just a minute, I think. That picture you saw was my student body at my school. There's 235 of us this year. There's my girl.
Hi, my name is Dilcia. I'm 16 years old. I have lived in the village for 8 years. I came to the village because my dad doesn't treat me good. I love to be at the village because I have a family that love me a lot, and I have friends, and I can speak English. I have God, Jesus, and I have like my Savior. When I grow up, I want to be an English teacher, and I want to help the poor people. I love you so much. Thank you for helping us, and God bless you. Have fun today.
A major shift in the right direction for the future of our children was the opening of our bilingual school for preschool to 12th grade 2 years ago. This school is affording our children a quality education that is not available anywhere else in Honduras, thanks to the support of many of you here tonight, and the amazingly gifted volunteer teachers and trained Honduran professionals God has brought there to serve them. As we look to the future of our children, we encounter new challenges at every turn. Susanna, who is in her 3rd year of medical school at the San Pedro Sula University, must take a bus. Susanna lives with me, and she gets up early in the morning to go take a bus that is a 3-hour round trip up to San Pedro Sula to get her education. While she's there, she has to change buses 3 times. And none of this is safe. She will be joined in January by 2 more of our kids, Miriam and Catherine. Both of those girls have been going to weekend school to finish up high school, and during the day, they are teacher aides in classrooms at our school. They begin their 1st year of college to become a psychologist and a pediatrician, respectively. We are exploring the possibilities for transportation and living quarters to better accommodate their needs as university students. Our son Luis will be moving to the U.S. to attend college to pursue his dream to be a missionary, and he also works at our school and is a teacher's aide in 4th grade. God has rescued, raised, and restored many children, taking them to adulthood through Heart to Heart, and most are doing very well. Some are married and have children. Some are in trades they learned at Heart to Heart, helping us build this whole thing. Some are attending the university. Many have come back to Heart and are employed with us to continue the work. But most importantly, they all know Jesus as their Lord and Savior. and most assuredly, every one of them would be dead or destitute had not God brought them as children to the refuge He created, Worldwide Heart Children's Village. One of these is Gen C. Our first wedding at the village was celebrated in September with the wedding of our daughter Gen C, who grew to womanhood at Heart to Heart. She married her beloved Angel, whom she met at our Heart to Heart Church youth group 3 years ago. Angel is helping with maintenance at the village, and Gen C is employed at our school. So our impact is strong with your help. In the last year, with your help, we have welcomed 8 new kids, we have celebrated 2 weddings, we have shared Christ to over 2,000 people via the 2 heart-to-heart crusades. We harvested fresh vegetables and fish from our aquaponics garden. We opened a discipleship house for 9 of our teen boys and 14 of our teen girls. We started a discipleship, well, that's the next step down. We educated more than 200 children, and actually there's 235 in grades preschool through 12th grade at our school now. We served over 140,000 meals during the year. We traveled over 70,000 miles, mowed over 1,000 acres of grass, made over 100 trips to the airport in San Pedro Sula. We hosted 12 volunteer teams from the U.S., which many of you were on, and God bless you and thank you for coming. I hope you'll come back. We did 15,000 loads of wash, drank over 30,000 gallons of water, and we celebrated 98 birthdays. But there is more to do. We have more kids out there that need us. And the fact is, children are still out there on the streets waiting for their prayers and cries for help to be answered. Recently on the local news, you have heard about many of them who have risked their lives to come illegally to the U.S. to try to escape the poverty and crime lurking to destroy them. You know, I have absolute faith that my Father will answer those prayers. And for some of them, like the 5 who joined us in June, that answer is going to be Heart to Heart. Heart to Heart founder and director Amy Serrano, in a recent monthly newsletter, quoted Jesus, who said it best, "I was hungry and you fed me. I was thirsty and you gave me a drink. I was a stranger and you invited me into your home. I was naked and you gave me clothing. I was sick and you cared for me. I was in prison and you visited me." She went on to say, "How far would I go? How much would it cost? And how long will I stay to bless Jesus? If we saw him hungry, wouldn't we feed him? Or if we saw him thirsty, a stranger, naked or sick, would we not rest until we cared for Jesus? Yet he says in his word, whatever you did for the least of these, you did for me." And I must say to all of our precious supporters, prayer warriors, our employees, volunteers, and friends, Jesus has been served through this vision called Heart to Heart. Today, he is sleeping, 98 of them are sleeping in a warm bed, kept safe from those who would want to hurt him. This summer, Jesus enjoyed a wonderful soccer camp, a vacation Bible school, an art project. Jesus just started a wonderful new school year in an excellent school. The thing that he has put on my heart to say is this: let them know I have been blessed. And how many more times will you help us bless Jesus by rescuing, raising, and restoring the next 100 least of these that he brings to the gates of Worldwide Heart to Heart Children's Village? We've spent months prior to this banquet praying for each of you who is called to be here tonight to hear this message. I know God has touched your hearts to give to his work in Honduras for these children and the next 100 and the next. And I thank you personally, every one of you here, for answering that call. Thank you for coming tonight to hear about what God is doing in Honduras for his kids. And thank you in advance for your prayers, for your financial help, and possibly coming to volunteer, that our Father will confirm in your heart tonight. A song that we sing at our school staff meetings begins, "Praise God from whom all blessings flow." And tonight, may those blessings that flow from God through you to the least of these be pleasing in his sight. And once more, bless Jesus. Thank you.